Hello and welcome to Flipped Classroom number 2. Today we're going to be looking at noun clauses, especially when they're used with yes and no questions. But let's start with reviewing a little bit. In class, we've talked about a lot of different direct questions that start with WH questions like how and when. For example, if we said, how can dolphins communicate with each other? This is a direct question, right? But we can also embed it into a noun clause question and ask in a more polite way. We can say something like, can you tell me how dolphins can communicate with each other? In this way, we are embedding the noun clause, how dolphins can communicate with each other, and starting off with a can you tell me question phrase. Remember that we're going to have a WH question. Next, we'll have the subject in red. And finally, we'll have the verb, in this case, can you communicate. The same is true of this question. When is your brother going to propose to his girlfriend? I have no idea when, the WH question, my brother, the subject, and is going to propose is the verb. Take a minute to think about what is to his girlfriend. What is this in the sentence? That's right. If you said that it's the object of the sentence, that's correct, because his girlfriend is a noun, and it answers the question, who is my brother going to propose to? The girlfriend. Okay. So just a little review there about WH questions and how we can turn them into noun clauses. We've practiced this a lot in class. But now let's look at a different type of question. What happens when the question is not WH? Let's look down here at these lovely penguins. If our direct question is something like, do penguins have wings? If we think about how someone could answer this question, their answer is going to either be yes, they have wings, or no, they don't have wings. So we can call this a yes or no question. To make a noun clause question, we do this a little bit differently than above because we don't have this WH word to begin the noun clause. So let's take a look here at how I do it. We could ask a question like, do you know if penguins have wings? Okay. We could also say, do you know if penguins have wings or not? Okay. So here, if is the word that is starting off the noun clause. Penguins is the subject. And have is the verb. Okay. Again, what is wings in this question or in this sentence? It is the object. Okay. We could also say, can you tell me whether penguins have wings? Again, we could say or not. Okay. So here, the question, the word that starts the noun clause is whether. Penguins, again, is the subject, and have is the verb. Okay. Notice that in both situations, we can add or not, but we don't have to. We can also take that out and say, can you tell me whether penguins have wings? Or we could say, can you tell me if penguins have wings? Okay, so the or not is optional. Okay. Alternatively, only with whether, we could put or not here, right next to or whether. So we could say, can you tell me whether or not penguins have wings? But with if, we cannot put or not here. Okay, this is not allowed. Okay, don't ask me why, I have no idea. English is weird. Okay, same we can do with a statement, right? We can say, I don't know if penguins have wings. Okay, I'm not sure whether or not penguins have wings. Okay, So I'd like you to take a minute and try number 4 and number 5, okay? The direct questions are, can penguins fly? And are penguins friendly? Okay, so I suggest that you pause the video because I'm going to give the answer very quickly, but pause it and give yourself time to try this on your own. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple of answers, and your answers might be slightly different because remember there are many ways that we can use whether or and if. Okay, for example, we could say, do you know whether or not penguins can fly? Can you tell me if penguins can fly? Okay, and again, we can add or not here if we want. Okay, and we can also delete or not here. Do you know whether penguins can fly? Okay. Okay. For the answer, we could say, I don't know if penguins can fly, or I'm not sure whether penguins can fly or not. Okay. Same down here. Are penguins friendly? Do you know if penguins are friendly or not? Can you tell me whether or not penguins are friendly? And I don't know whether or not penguins are friendly. And I'm not sure if penguins are friendly or not. Okay? So again, we can go through and highlight the words that begin the noun clause. Okay? For a yes or no question, it's always if or whether. Okay? I guess if we have or not, we can also highlight those as the beginner question. We also have the subjects. In every case here, it's going to be penguins, right? The verb in every case for this sentence is are, right? And then, of course, friendly is just an adjective. So we're going to put that after the verb. Okay. Okay, so let's compare a few questions, right? Now that we've learned about many different types of questions, I'd like you to try to make a noun clause with each of these. Okay, so for example, for this one, I'd like you to use can you tell me? This one, I don't know. And this one, do you know? Okay, so again, take a minute, pause your camera or pause the video and try to answer these three using a noun clause. Okay, so this one already, when I look at the question, I want to think about what's the answer to the question. For number 1, did your mother go to the grocery store? The answer can either be yes or it can be no. For number 2, where does your mother usually shop? The answer can be the name of a store. For example, it could be Safeway or the farmer's market or Whole Foods. Right? It's going to be the name of a supermarket because we have this WH question, where, right? And finally, does your mother need help with the groceries? The answer is either going to be yes, she does need help, or no, she doesn't, right? So already this is telling me that these two are going to use if and whether, and this one is going to use the same WH question, where, okay? So we'll start with the where one first this time. We could say, I don't know where my mother, subject, usually shops is the verb, right? Mother, Okay, so how about the other two? Can you tell me, right? Again, because it's a yes or no question, we only have two choices. We have if and we have whether, right? So we could say, can you tell me if your mother went to the grocery store? Okay. Again, your mother is the subject. Went is the verb. Okay. And either if or whether, whatever one you decide to use, is going to be your starter word because it's a yes or no question. Okay. Same thing down here. Do you know if or whether your mother needs help with the groceries? Okay. So again, we have starter WH question. I'm sorry, if or whether questions to start off the noun clause. We have your mother, which is the subject, and needs, right, which is the verb. Okay. Here, help is not a verb. Why is it not a verb? Because it's a noun. So here, help is actually the object. It's what your mother needs. Okay. So this is it for yes or no questions and noun clauses. Once again, to recap, we're just going to use if and whether for yes or no questions. But if it's a WH question, we're going to use the WH word to start. Okay. You can see more information about this on page 249 of Azar. It has a nice chart there for you and gives you some examples. Okay. For homework, I'd like you guys to try something different though. I'd like you to do a worksheet called Noun Clauses with Yes and No Questions. No, I'm sorry, it's called Noun Clauses with Mixed Questions, actually. So I've mixed in some yes or no questions and then some WH questions. And I'd like you guys to try that out, okay? So I'm going to show you how to get there. First, we're going to go to Blackboard, type in your information, okay? Choose your class, 110C. Hopefully your computer is faster than mine. And go over to Forms and Documents on the left and into the grammar box. And it's this first one right here. So if you want, you can download it and print, and you can give me the answers in class on Tuesday. Or if you don't have a printer or you don't want to print, then you can just read from the internet and then copy the answers down, okay? But either way, I'd like you to hand me this paper. You're going to turn it in for a grade on Tuesday, okay? If you have any issues, please feel free to email me, okay? Thank you guys and have a great weekend.